on, you bastard. It was you, wasn't it? You who started the epidemic, the evil that is wiping out our community. You raised the dead to feed on the living. You planned it. Answer me, damn you!
You were the ones who started. You wanted to defy hell. And now hell has accepted the challenge.
After Death, also known as Zombie 4 After Death, is a 1989 Italian zombie horror flick shot in the Philippines and starring adult film actor Jeff Stryker. It's a gory and inept zombie flick that manages to be mildly entertaining despite its nonsensical narrative.
He wants us all to die from that awful disease. We must do something to stop him before he murders us with his spells and his magic. With voodoo.
That's right. Yeah, kill him!
Yeah.
That's right.
No one can escape his destiny.
Come back to life now if you can, bastard!
A group of scientists working on a cure for cancer on a secluded island face off against a voodoo priest. The voodoo priest curses the island and brings the dead back to life to slaughter the scientists. Only a little girl manages to escape. 20 years later, the same little girl happens to get stranded on the same island with a group of mercenaries. At the same time, a trio of explorers read from the Book of the Dead and cause the zombies to rise on the island again. Eventually, survivors from both parties team up and try to escape the island before being devoured by zombies. After Death is your typical 80s Italian zombie movie. It features ultra gore, terrible dubbing, and ridiculous dialogue. All the characters are extremely stupid, and the film's plot is a jumbled mess. The opening of the film is actually the best part. It's a highly stylized scene involving a cool-looking zombie demon, some nice action, and the film's best kill. It's too bad the rest of the film doesn't maintain the same energy and flair.
It prevents the dead from rising. You have to put the amulet in the center. Like this.
Bullshit. That's all it is.
The zombies in this aren't gruesome and they don't look very interesting. They just look like Filipino extras with white makeup caked on their faces. After Death also doesn't set up any rules for the zombies. One mercenary is able to communicate as well as fires a machine gun after turning.
It'll be a new experience for you. Just a bite. That's all it takes. And you'll become one of the living dead. Don't you want to be like us?
You're not getting your dirty hands on me.
The special effects are pretty good and the crew made good with their low budget. The dialogue, as I mentioned, is terrible. Almost as if a child wrote the screenplay. But what can you expect from the same guy that brought us Troll 2? Claudio Fragasso directs under the pseudonym Clyde Anderson. I will admit, Fragasso does pace the film well and the zombie carnage is shot strongly. But the illogical plot is nonsense and the dialogue is just ridiculous.
Come on, Chuck. Why don't you try reading some of it?
Don't do it. It might release evil forces.
Looks nice. Typical deserted island.
No, it's weird. Something strange about it. As if it were haunted. The sort of thing I used to dream about. There was an island like this one, full of zombies. The living dead. They were horrible.
The acting is over the top, but it's always hard to really judge acting when the movie is dubbed. Jeff Stryker, who was a popular adult actor at the time, stars as the film's lead hero. This was definitely a strange film for Stryker to choose as his foray into the mainstream. He is likable as a lead and emotes rather well. The rest of the cast is average for this kind of flick, but as I mentioned, all the characters are pretty useless. I really did dig the musical score of the film, though.
Out of the way! You can only stop him by blowing his head off. We have to move, because they're coming. By the hundreds. They're getting very near.
After Death features a kick-ass theme song. I really do miss cool rock themes in horror movies. After Death unfortunately has a pretty shitty ending. Besides being anticlimactic and stupid, the ending is also abrupt. This is a movie where the beginning and the ending of the movie should have been swapped. And honestly, with how convoluted the plot was, I don't think anyone would have noticed. Zombie 4 After Death has nothing to do with the previous films in the series. It was actually just shot as After Death. The zombie title was tacked on to help it get brand recognition in the US when it was released on DVD in 2002. I don't believe the film ever came out on VHS in the United States. It was quite popular in Japan and Italy though. I still find Zombie 3 to be my favorite out of all the zombie films. After Death is a mildly entertaining zombie flick that features some nice gore and an interesting lead turn by Stryker. But at the end of the day, I still feel it's a mixed bag and it peaks at the beginning.
We're gonna be together. Forever. Hey, baby. Welcome home to your big papa. Yeah.